Guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing well and having a great week thus far. As you can probably tell, I'm stuck in my car. I'm actually waiting for my daughter to come down, and I thought this would be a great time to do my very first story time video. I don't know if you watch storytime videos here on YouTube, but it's usually an opportunity YouTubers take to kind of share funny moments from their lives, again, that are either funny or shocking or embarrassing. This one's going to be kind of embarrassing. Or, just to provide an opportunity to share a little bit about their lives and memorable or funny moments in their lives. So that's what I'm going to do today, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe to the video and definitely give me some feedback. I'm going to ask you a question at the end of this video, and I cannot wait to see your answers, okay? So let's jump into my story time, my very first one. Oh, I hope this comes out okay. All right, so this is obviously, as you can tell by the title of this video, it's about the vagina. So the funny story I have about the vagina has to do with kind of being a mom and raising a daughter and, wanting to take those moments to kind of fully educate your daughter about her body. So for me, that happened when my daughter was pretty young, just kind of beginning those conversations. So I was one of those moms when my daughter was really young that, first of all, she's an only child. Secondly, I'm an only child. So I never grew up around other kids. And so I never really got into the, goo goo gaga, wah wah, baby talk kind of thing. Would you, yeah, I can't do that. I can't. In fact, it was so bad when my daughter was an infant that, I think our first appointment with either our pediatrician, or we may have gone together to my doctor, my gynecologist. And I was telling her I was having a really difficult time talking to my daughter because I knew she couldn't understand me. I'm a very logical sort of thinker. And I'm like, I don't know what to say to her because I know she can't understand me. And I felt weird kind of talking to her. So, okay, so you first-time moms, if you have this problem too, the thing she suggested I do, which was so helpful, was she said, oh, you're not alone. There are other moms who have the same experience. So what you should do is talk your daughter through everything that you're doing with her. So for instance, if you're changing her into her onesie or her night, pajamas or whatever it is you're doing, talk her through it. So if you're putting the onesie on her, say, I'm going to take the onesie and pull it over your head. And now I'm going to pull your left arm through the sleeve. I'm going to pull your right arm through the sleeve and that kind of thing. So it was really, really helpful because, we all know it's important to be verbal with our kids early on, and I'm getting way off track, but in any event, that really helped me. So again, the reason I bring that up is that I have always been a mom that was not into the baby talk in any way. So when it came to my daughter's anatomy, I wasn't going to give it any of those cutesy little names or stuff like stank stank or that's your stank stank or yo boo boo. I don't know. I've heard people call the vagina and other parts of the body some really odd things. So I'm just like, it's anatomy. It's her vagina. So when she got old enough for me to leave her at a daycare center, I felt that it was really important that she be able to articulate everything, right? So she was about 4 years old, and I knew that she was going to be going to daycare. And so I said, okay, you're going to have to go to the bathroom. Sometimes it is so funny because I'm talking to this 4-year-old like she's an adult, right? I'm like, you're going to have to go to the bathroom sometime. So when you have to go to the bathroom, you let the teacher know you have to go, you have to go to the bathroom. And so when you go, you know, it's okay for you to take care of yourself because you know how to go to the bathroom, right? And she's like, yes. And so I said, okay. So, you know, do you know what this is called? And I pointed to her, obviously her vagina. And she's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, what's it called? Because I'm like, for real? What's it called? So she's like, well, I don't know. And so I said, okay, that is called your vagina. And it's your vagina. That means it belongs to you. So when you go to the bathroom, or when you're taking a bath, or when you're changing, you know, no one else should touch it but you. You can touch it because it's yours. But mommy can't touch it. Daddy can't touch it. You know, grandma can't touch it. We went through the whole, like, series of people in her life who she knew who shouldn't touch her vagina, right? And then I ended it, but you can touch it because it's your vagina. So then I made a game out of it, right? And so I'm like, so whose vagina is that? And she's like, it's my vagina. And so then I'm like, okay, yes. And I said, can mommy touch it? And she's like, no. Can daddy touch it? No. Can grandpa touch it? No. And we go through this whole long line of people. Can they touch it? No. Can you touch it? Yes, because it's my vagina. So I'm like, oh my gosh. Feeling so good about myself as a mother and just feeling so proud. And so I'm like, you know, ready for her to go to school the next day, for her, you know, first day at daycare and all that kind of stuff. And so, you know, I drop her off and, you know, I feel like I've had this very informative conversation with a 4-year-old. And I'm feeling good. So I go there. First day goes fine. Next day goes fine. Third day, you know, they had a new assistant that came in that day for her classroom. So apparently, you know, she has to go to the bathroom that day. So anyway, I come in and I walk in the daycare center and it's like everybody's in mid-conversation about something. You know how you walk into a room and everybody stops what they're talking about, right? And you're like, okay, what? Y'all talking about me? For real. You know, you just get that sense that they're talking about you. So everybody stops and then they all kind of look at me and no one says anything. And so the owner of the daycare, she's like, oh, hi, Miss Brumfield and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, hey, how are you? So on and so forth. So then she's like, everybody starts giggling. So she starts giggling and then like other people and they start giggling and, you know, I'm going to sign my daughter out and stuff like that. And I'm like, what is so funny? Why are you guys giggling? And so she's like, well, Miora had an experience today. So I'm like, oh, really? You know, and I'm not knowing what to expect, you know. And so they're like, yeah. So she's like, well, Miora had to go to the bathroom. And, you know, our assistant said, okay, you know, do you need any help? Because, you know, they will ask the kids if they need help. Obviously, some kids need help, like unbuckling stuff and unbuttoning, you know, typical 4-year-old stuff. And so Miora said, no, she's fine. And she could go to the bathroom. So then she came out and she's like, I'm all done. And she's like, I can go to the bathroom by myself. Because I have a vagina and I can touch it, but you can't touch it. So the teacher's like, what? And all of the kids are like, what? So they're all sitting on the floor around this table. So my daughter, as precocious as she was, decides she's going to climb up on the table and, you know, just kind of sit there. And then she's going to let everybody know about the vagina. So she's like, yes, I have a vagina and I can touch it because it's mine. But you can't touch it. You can't touch it. You can't touch it. And you can't touch it. but I can touch it because it's mine. And she's like, it's right here. So I'm like, oh my gosh. It was so embarrassing. Like, I've never had a moment like that. But at the same moment, I was so proud of her for feeling confident enough to kind of, talk about her vagina and let her know you can't touch it. But she could touch it because it's hers. Boom. So oh my gosh, that was like the first of many embarrassing moments that my daughter and I have had in her growing up, especially when she was really young. Another time, she told an old lady about, I watch adult movies. Now, it's not what you think, but such a hilarious story. So if you guys want to know about that, let me know in the comments section. I will upload a video about that. That one is absolutely hilarious. But I'm wondering, have you guys ever had embarrassing moments with your own children that involved the whole anatomy thing? Like the whole vagina thing. I mean, there were things like we would be out and she's like, Mommy, my vagina itches. Like she was so uninhibited about saying the word vagina that it would just come out like at odd moments. And, the really interesting thing was, and I think it's generational. My mother had she was so upset that I taught my daughter the word vagina. And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to tell her to call it? It's a vagina, right? It's her vagina. It's anatomy. But, she came from a generation where you just didn't say that word. So I think she wanted a cutesy word for it. But, excuse me, I was like 6 years old calling breasts pickles. So I'm like, Mom, no, we're not going down that road. And my dad was like, you got to let her do what, she thinks is right for her daughter. So in any event, I wonder if you guys have had any comical, interesting, or funny stories about your own kids and how you introduced their anatomy to them. Did you use proper words or did you make up names for it that made you feel more comfortable and you thought were more age appropriate for them? And do you have any funny stories? I would love to read them in the comments section. So please do leave them below. I hope you guys enjoyed this first story time. It was my first one, so I hope it comes out okay. But thank you guys so much for listening, and I can't wait to hear your stories. And I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.